Hello guys, welcome back. Today we are reacting to Phase Zero. Yeah, Phase Zero. He they did interview with someone else, but I want to skip to Yuri Lowenthal, the voice of Peter Parker in Spider-Man PS4, Miles Morales, and Spider-Man 2, the Peter Parker, the symbiote, and stuff. One-on-one with Marvel Spider-Man's Yuri Lowenthal, plus huge Loki announcement. I think that was before or towards the ending, but I looked and it's have him here the whole entire time, except these. But let's begin.
Season 3, episode 38. We're rolling on right now. We have an epic special guest joining us for the second half of today's show. If you have questions, get those little fingies typing away right now in the comment section because we are live and this guy is a legend. He is the voice of Smoke in Mortal Kombat 1. He is the voice of He-Man in Masters of the Universe, Sasuke in Naruto, and right now he's on Phase Zero because he is the voice of Peter Parker, Spider-Man himself in the upcoming Spider-Man 2. Mr. Yuri Lowenthal is on the show. Yuri, welcome to Phase Zero, my friend.
Thank you. I've been chomping at the bit backstage.
AKA Peter Parker, AKA Spider-Man, AKA Spooderman.
Just because I'm like, I want to talk about the creator. I want to talk about shows that change the title that I've been on slightly so that they don't have to pay me any more money. But I couldn't because I was backstage. So
here we are. Now we're here. Now is the well, have you seen the creator already?
I have not. Funny story. It's playing at Beyond Fest, which is my favorite Los Angeles-based genre film festival. Let's just say film festival, period. And the tickets sell out so fast that I was like this at 10 a.m. when tickets went on sale. And I got, even though I knew it was going to be coming out because I'd already seen a giant billboard for it, I usually try to, when I go to film festivals like that, try to see movies that aren't going to necessarily come out. But I was like, that looks really cool. I had a ticket in my cart for it, and as I was trying to check out the site because it was being crashed by so many people trying to buy tickets, I lost everything. I got no tickets to Beyond Fest.
Oh.
So boo.
You got to be able to pull you have to be able to pull the Spider-Man card.
Everybody who's like, well, what do you mean you pre-ordered the game? Don't they just gonna give you one? I'm like, well. Sometimes they do, but I don't like to count on it. And I definitely don't want to miss out on 19 inches of Venom, So,
yo, IGN, or was that a PlayStation tweet?
That was a PlayStation tweet.
Yeah. Hey, they knew what they were doing.
I know, right?
It worked.
Yeah.
All right, I want to. We are Phase Zero. We talk Marvel every Wednesday. I want to hear from you, Yuri, first. A great way to get to know you. Something we did with Logan earlier in the show today. I'd love to hear about just your Marvel fandom. Where did it start for you? Were you a comics fan, animation, games? Now it's so much in live action. What does Marvel fandom mean to you?
I mean, Marvel fandom to me was comic books growing up. I read a lot of I read more comic books back when I was younger than I do now. Probably because I've got a 7-year-old and he takes up most of my time. But yeah, I grew up reading comics. I mean, it's probably the reason that I'm wearing a Moon Knight T-shirt to a Spider-Man interview, because I have to rep, my what I love. But yeah, it was comics from way back, and
Spider-Man.
Early on, we didn't know that there was a thing. We just liked Marvel and DC. Like it was just like a thing. We didn't even care when I was young enough. And then, the Great Marvel DC Wars started, and we had to pick sides. And then we realized that we didn't have to pick sides, and so. So yeah, I've been, and then in the '80s, because I'm older than all of you put together. I used to, I went when that whole indie comic, all the Comicos and the Grendels and Mages and all the sort of the more indie labels.
Dude, I want to meet
Yuri. Really into that.
He seems like a cool person.
And now I just sort of pick and choose. I don't even have a pull box anymore. I just sort of when somebody recommends something, or if I'm interested in something, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go down and get that. Or somebody recommended this, or wait a minute, Bill Sienkiewicz is doing things again. I'll find the thing sort of individually. That's where I'm at these days.
That's amazing. So the first Spider-Man game really introduced a great characterization of Peter. He's a genius. He's maybe a little overambitious. He's very pure of heart. On a personal level, what did you learn and tap into about Spider-Man in bringing him to life for the first game?
I would like to believe that when I was past that they saw a lot of. I mean, I'm not brilliant by any stretch, trust me, but a lot of that is just who I am. Like, I mean, you'll if you close your eyes right now, you're like, he's doing the voice, and I'm like, because it's my voice. Like, this is it's me. I mean, I think a lot of us connect to the
What?
humanity of Spider-Man,
What did I lose my eyes?
and
Okay.
and I connect to to that and a bunch of other things too. Like he's a doofus and he makes bad jokes and he covers all his pain by smiling, which isn't to make you guys nervous every time I smile in this interview, but I know I do the same thing. I've always done that. Yeah, see we're on the same page. So I mean I definitely did a deep dive into responsibility and learned some things about responsibility, because you kind of have to when you play this character. But I already have my own hangups about that. Like, I think again, to get personal, I think my dad made a big deal about responsibility when I was very young, and I probably took it on too hard. Like, I probably feel responsible for more things than I have any right to feel responsible for, and it stresses me out most of the time. And so I have a very twisted relationship with responsibility. I know it's this character's thing, and with great power comes great responsibility, but sometimes I hate it. I hate responsibility because I already feel it too deeply.
Yuri, I think the thing that stood out the most in the previous Spider-Man game is that there is a lot of emotional heavy lifting that you're doing throughout that game. Like, you're giving the one-liners and the quips in typical Spider-Man fashion, but especially when you get to the final hours of that game, there are some heavy moments. And I'm curious, for you as an actor, do you look forward to those instances, performing them, or are those your favorite days on set, or do you kind of how do you approach those more difficult moments in the game compared to the ones where you're just being Spider-Man and you're making bad jokes and stuff like that? Like,
those instances scare the shit out of me most of the time. But sometimes they also catch me unawares. Like, we go into shooting a scene and I think I know how it's gonna go, and then Bill Salyers, who played Doc Ock in that game, will be right opposite me, and he'll do something that I wasn't expecting, and it'll change everything. Which is why I loved in this game, so much of what we do in video games, and even so much of Spider-Man is recorded solo. You're in a booth, the director's there, they can give you, Chris Zimmerman is a genius, and she has played a huge part in bringing those performances out of all of us, and keeping all the pieces where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
there is something that you get when an actor is across from you and you're acting with somebody that would, like, we got to shoot all the cinematics like we were doing a play or shooting a movie, and so all the actors were there for those scenes. So having Bill there, having Nancy there for as Aunt May right in front of me, between that and the brilliant writing that we've gotten from Insomniac for this game, really does most of the heavy lifting. I think most actors will tell you, if the writing is there, our job becomes much easier, and that goes double with when you have then another actor opposite, and you're just there with them. So sometimes it's scary. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not a super technical actor in that, like, I don't go in knowing exactly how it's gonna go. I wish that I could, because I go nervous into when I go in, but I don't have the skill to execute very specific things necessarily if they're needed, and so it's scary. It's scary going into those sometimes because I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
So jumping into Spider-Man 2, you guys are really building out the universe. As a Marvel fan, what did you find the most exciting about getting to bring in all of the awesome new characters like Venom and all of the other ones?
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man has such a great, like second to Batman, or arguably comparable to Batman, has like the greatest rogues gallery I think of any comic book hero out there, and so I think half the well, not half the reason necessarily, but I think people are excited about this game, and Spider-Man fans are excited because they're like, okay, who do we get this time? And we get these, but we know they're holding back on some too, so who else are we going to see? Are we going to see Big Wheel? Are we, no, you're not going to see Big Wheel. I lobbied hard for Big. I lobbied hard for Spot.
When did this come out? Like 3 days ago. We know the Big Wheel.
Early on, and then
not like the person, but the Big Wheel. But yeah,
we got it in the movies.
What did I just say?
I think that's great. I think the and in true Insomniac style, you're going to get a version of that villain that you're used to, and all the reasons you love that villain, but it's not going to be the same as it usually is. You're going to get something new, which is another thing that I just find exciting about these games is it's all the familiar stuff that you love, but wait, it's slightly different, and so it keeps you on your toes and it keeps it exciting.
Yeah,
and so I obviously can't talk about too much without spoiling it, but I was excited by the choices, and
the choices.
We do the game. I do my part in the game, and then I end up.
Do we have choices in this game? So that would be lit.
Playing the game, or let's be honest, watching YouTube playthroughs of the game, or now that my son has started playing, he just started playing the first game. He's 7, or playing it with him. There are surprises for me, even though I was involved in the whole game. There are bits where I just wasn't involved, and so things surprise me too, and I'm looking forward to
that's cool.
that as well.
Well, Jim, you can run exclusive Big Wheel's not in Spider-Man 2.
That broke my heart. Oh my god.
Jeez. Did not expect the voice. Jesus.
Well, Jim, you can run exclusive Big Wheel's not in Spider-Man 2.
That broke my heart. Oh my gosh. I love
guys,
Big Wheel. That was so disappointing.
If you were tuning in to get the Big Wheel game, while I would love that, I don't think that's gonna happen.
They threw a cameo in for it though, at least in the Coney Island sequence, didn't they? I think there's a Ferris wheel or something like that, and people noticed that it's called the Big Wheel.
The Big Wheel. I honestly, it's and this was true for the first game too. Like I would just sit down just to swing around. Like I told them, I said you should just have like tourist mode, where it turns off all missions, all encounters, all everything, and just let people swing. I already want to spend like days in Coney Island.
Okay. Why does
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Okay.
So,
and Jim's gonna absolutely deport me if I don't ask you about Kraven. So, he's not a hunter in some of these movies that are coming out, much to the internet chagrin. Is he going to be hunting Spider-Man? He's here too. I know all the marketing surrounding Venom, but Kraven's a pretty big deal for Spider-Man.
Yeah, Kraven will be hunting. And Kraven has a lot of people working for him who will also be hunting. And I think as a player, you'll have your hands full. And again, it's a lot of the Kraven stuff that
I just watched something and I can freaking pop my freaking wrist. Ow! Oh, did you guys hear that? Oh, I'm gonna be watching that back to see if I heard that. But God,
we've seen before, and a lot that it's a lot of the Kraven stuff that we've seen before, and a lot that you haven't. So, but I don't think anybody's gonna be disappointed in the hunt, as it were.
Let's go.
It's
I did hear that.
It's a great storyline. So yes, Kraven. I can confirm. Kraven the Hunter will be hunting in this game.
That's more than we could say for some of the movies, though. So it is a fair question in 2023.
Right. Fair enough.
Yuri, one thing I'm curious to get your reaction to, and something that happened a few years ago now, is that Insomniac announced that they were changing the design of Peter Parker for Marvel Spider-Man 2 and moving forward. Yeah. And this has been something that I think fans have had a little bit of difficulty, wrapping their minds around, especially those who haven't gone back and played the PS5 remaster, where I know that they shifted that around. I guess in your own experience, how long did it take for you to kind of get used to that change? And I assume you knew about it far in advance of them making the decision to change the look, but was that something that was a little bit odd for you as well, working behind the scenes?
No, because the performance was the same for me, and I got over it as soon as they said, "Hey, we want to make this change so that the facial animation is better." And I'm like, "I'm all in. I don't care. I don't care if he looks like a goblin. If my performance looks better, then I'm in."
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
I think I'm kind of tired of talking about it, to be honest, because I think everything that needed to be said has been said about it. And some people will take longer to get over it. Some people will never get over it. You'll always have that.
Yeah.
I think the one positive thing that I take away.
In my opinion, I like the new face of Peter Parker better than the original PS4 Spider-Man face. In my opinion, because like he said, the facial expressions is better. But the pores and stuff look well in PS4, but people are saying the facial expression was not good in remaster, but in my mind, but the facial expression of the new phase is perfect. I like it.
Away from this experience is that people connected emotionally to that character so hard and so deeply in the first game that they're mad when they feel like that person changes, and I can only be so mad about that because it worked. I mean, like, not the change thing, but I mean, you connected emotionally with the character, which is great. Now get over it.
Do you have a favorite meme?
Awesome,
Since we're talking about
Fair
internet
enough.
reactions, do you have like a favorite meme or viral clip you've seen from the games?
Oh man.
Come on, give us some
I
memes.
don't know.
PC.
I'm not big up on my memes. I know
I thought you were
people
gonna say
have been
you're not very active on social media, and I was gonna be like, what is it like living a peaceful life?
No. Well, I'll tell you what. It's a lot harder when you get older to keep up on all that stuff. It just takes more time, and you're worse at it. So it's really a lose-lose situation. But I mean, a lot of people have been passing around that Shocker meme, which I didn't even remember from the original show. I'm just fascinated by how intense people are about. That better be in the game, or I'm just gonna stop. Like, okay.
Hold on, calm down.
But I mean, that's sort of the meme that's in my head right now from the
Okay.
first game. I did love a lot of the. I mean, it's not really meme territory, but I loved a lot of the mods
Jesus,
when they ported it to PC. Some of the mods were
Still
amazing. Like, I would play. Somebody modded it with Teenage Mutant Ninja
Oh,
Turtles.
Jesus.
I would play that game. I would give you $60 to play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles version of Spider-Man. Like, I mean, it was awesome. So I mean, I love that it inspires people to get creative, on all levels. I love that people love the suits. I love, the photography. The in-game photography has been staggering. There's some of the stuff that comes out of that. I can't even believe people are capturing that from the game. So, I mean, most stuff I just love that people are inspired, to go further in the game and to replay a game. A lot of games you're like, it was awesome, but now move on to another game. And I get these I see these posts where people are like, I just finished my 10th platinum of Spider-Man. I'm like, what? So
that's
I
insane.
just love that people can come back to it and it inspires people. It's awesome.
Yeah, this feels like it's rare that we get a game.
I keep on going back and playing the first game in Miles Morales. I still do that till this day. I haven't played Spider-Man remaster of Miles Morales within maybe like 2 weeks, but to be honest, I might just jump back into it and swing and fight and maybe do another New Game Plus.
Game that
Delete one of my New Game Plus and put another New Game Plus.
everybody agrees on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this one, you don't really see people out there still having bad things to say about the Spider-Man game. It's just like a community experience to take the selfies in the game and share them online, and then it's really fun, man.
And it's
I
very
want
in character, like it's very Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, the community is very positive, and they do cool things, and anyone can wear the mask, so go for it.
Yeah, that's the line right there. A lot of people have worn the mask in the various meetings we talked about at the top of this interview. whether it's comics, whether it's video games, animation, movies, live action. That includes the villains. Like Venom has his own movie franchise, and we've seen these things in a lot of different mediums. When you take on the role of Spider-Man, do you look at any of those and say, okay, I like that, or say, well, that's been done that way, so I want to make sure I kind of do this, a different way, so it feels fresh? Or do you just finally, or just completely just your thing where you're like, you know what, I feel like I can bring myself to this, and it will be unique in that, just for that?
I think it leans towards the latter. I think it would be disingenuous for me to say, "Oh, I wasn't influenced by any of the awesome Spider-Mans who have, who I've loved, growing up. I was, a big Toby guy, and I've seen, all the incarnations, over the years, and so I think it would be wrong for me to say I wasn't influenced by anything. I was just starting from scratch. I just threw away everything, Lee and Ditko did, and all the writers who've come through, and we're just gonna make a whole new Spider-Man." But I think the only way for me to separate it from that, rather than modeling it off of one or the other that I liked, or that I felt was particularly formative, I went with what Insomniac was doing. I came with what I come with naturally, and then worked with Insomniac to create that Spider-Man for that story, and hopefully it has again enough of the DNA that people are like, that's not Spider-Man. But enough, new stuff, that you haven't seen before. A lot of the, Spider-Man stories you see, we're like, oh, okay, we're doing the whole, origin story thing again, and it's pretty much the same, because they were telling, a different but similar story. It helped change it up without me really having to do anything.
Have you met any of the other Spider-Mans?
I have. Josh Keaton. Josh and I are friends. That counts,
yeah.
Right? I was gonna say. I wonder if James Arnold Taylor, the voicey Spideys.
Sure.
I know several of. I met Shamik briefly once. I know. Watch. I'm gonna get a mad posting from somebody who's like, you didn't say about the time that I'm a friend of yours and you didn't mention me as Spider-Man. Yeah, we Spider-Mans could do that with each other.
Just constantly pointing at each other.
I met Jack Quaid recently, and now we're best friends. And he's Peter Parker, that counts. And he and I are part of a club now, of actors who've played both Superman and Spider-Man, of which I don't think there are that many. I think Nicolas Cage might be the only other member of our club.
Wow.
But I want somebody to fact check me on that.
You guys should make there should be a varsity jacket for that accomplishment.
We totally have to.
That's a very exclusive club.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay, hold on. But speaking of meeting other Spider-Mans, I do have, of course, a hypothetical question.
Oh God.
Because we saw your Spider-Man show up in a film, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Does that now mean that a Spider-Man from that film could show up in a video game?
God, I hope so. Here's the thing.
They
don't.
Nah, you smoothly that you. What am I doing? Why am I? Stop.
Again, surprises even from me. They don't tell me all of the stuff that's in the game, mostly just because it's I don't need it to do my job. So I don't know, to be honest. I hope I'm hoping just like everybody else. It was cool that they we were so excited when they included Insomniac Spider-Man in the movie. I think it would only be fair. So
cool.
I would hope going forward that there's more crossover.
They're going to get so secretive in what they tell you. They're just going to have you record the dialogue on the day when each player gets to that scene.
Patching. They're patching like rapidly.
Go.
We're going to do something. I thought the game was already out. Well, it's out, but
we got a kid in Texas. He just hit that part. Go.
So we asked for a couple listener questions. Nick Valdez, who is a comic book writer who's been on the show before, asked if playing Sasuke on Naruto helped with your Spider-Man kind of sinking into darkness at all.
That's a great question, because while it was never a conscious decision when I was recording, symbiote influenced Spider-Man, it is inevitable that there would be some crossover, because that's more Sasuke's, stomping ground, really. To be sort of dark and, if Toby will allow me, emo with Spider-Man, and just sort of, aggressive and doesn't care who gets hurt. Um, so, so yeah, I mean, maybe it did, maybe before I played Sasuke, I just played, chipper, bright-eyed, young, naive heroes, and then Sasuke happened. And I had to dig a little, deeper to find that kind of stuff because, like I said, I wear a different, suit on the surface. Um, so, so yeah, it wasn't a conscious decision, but I'm sure Sasuke's in all that.
Okay.
Yuri, how collaborative is it with the writing team when you are coming up with the quips and the jokes that Spider-Man is spitting out in these games? And have you come up with any on yourself? And what are some of your own favorites that maybe stick in your mind that you think back on?
Oh man, in the beginning I was so nervous that like we've discussed before, the writing, you don't need to mess with the writing because the writing is great to start with, and super funny and well thought out and written by people who truly love Spider-Man. But as we got deeper and deeper into that first game and I felt more and more comfortable and I was thinking like Spider-Man while we were recording, every now and then something would occur to me, or I'd get the script the night before and I'd be reading, I'd be like, oh, it'd be really funny. And I'd make a little note in the, in the side. And so I would start coming up with things. And I'll be honest with you, probably most of the time they're like, hey, that was great. Okay, burn that one and go with the first take. But because they're under no obligation to take any rewrites that I ever do. But some of them do make it through. Every now and then they're like, that was really funny. Or sometimes, like in the first game, I'll say something like I say with most, sort of outtakey material, and I assume it'll never see the light of day. And then all of a sudden it'll be in the game and they're under no obligation to tell me what they keep of mine. So it's always a surprise to me. And often we've kind of merged into this one, spider being where I'll hear something, I'll be like, did I come up with that or did they write that? But in the first game, I think I said something either in an interview or at a convention on a panel or something. I said, yeah, I came up with this, one of my favorite ad-libs that I came up with was yippee-ki-yay, mother spiders. And I was like, but they couldn't put it in the game. And then somebody posted gameplay where it was in the game, and I just assumed they had. But they couldn't put it in the game. Spiders. One of my favorite ad-libs that I came up with was yippee-ki-yay, mother spiders. And I was like, but they couldn't put it in the game. And then somebody posted gameplay where it was in the game, and I just assumed they had burned it, and it made it into the game. So it's all surprises to me these days. But we've gotten into a really good groove where they're very flexible with they're very open to me at least trying on something. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Sometimes I'll come up with something that I think is hilarious, and sometimes they'll think is hilarious, but it's like too long for the moment. There are certain lines that have to be short and snappy for combat, and I come up with this elaborate joke, and they're like, yeah, that was funny, but it's 7 times as long as we need for this line. So so there are a lot of factors at play that sometimes determine whether or not something gets into the game.
All right.
That's awesome. Yippee-ki-yay, mother spiders. Speaking of trying things on, the chat has a lot of people in our live comment section are asking do you have to change your voice at all when you're voicing Spider-Man when Spider-Man is wearing the black suit versus Peter Parker in his traditional colored suit?
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a character shift, and I'll be honest with you, it shifts.
Hold up, I need to see how long we've been recording. Okay, almost 30 minutes. Okay.
Gradually throughout his experience with the symbiote. So it starts in one place, and as the symbiote, takes stronger and stronger hold over Peter, it changes throughout. And that was something that we paid a lot of attention to going through, and where Chris Zimmerman, our performance director, was always on me. She's like, that was a great take, but it was too Pete, or it was too symbiote. Like, we're not, because we record out of sequence, sometimes I'll think that Peter's in a different place than what we're recording is, and she'll be like, that would be great if it was regular Peter, but we're at this point in the game, and so that doesn't work. So yeah, I would argue that I don't change my voice.
Yeah, you know the belt thing where when Craven did the belt and then Peter, I think someone hurt him.
Voice per se, like I don't put on a really cool, like British symbiote accent as it goes on, or but the character changes, and so the voice inevitably changes.
No British symbiote. I'm
sorry.
Oh, come on.
I tried on a bunch of stuff. We did like a German accent. We did like a Kiwi accent.
Yes, Dr. Octopus. I don't know why I thought it was a symbiote voice. That's why I'm not the voice actor here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Voice. Yes, Dr. Octopus.
Like a German accent. We did like a Kiwi accent.
Yes, Dr. Octopus. I don't know what that was and why I thought it was a symbiote voice. That's why I'm not the voice actor here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Someone in chat added to Brandon's weird accent Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's every week. I don't know why. It's terrible every week, and I just keep doing them. I'm sorry. Let's act like that didn't happen and keep going.
We're burning that take. Fans already want Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 2 is not out yet. How long are you down to play this character?
Man, I'll be honest. I'm just excited that at my age they still let me play Spider-Man, or they ever let me play Spider-Man in the first place. So I'll do it to my dying breath if they'll let me, because I love it so much, and I love working with them so much, and I love what they do, and I love.
If Spider-Man 3 does come out and they do make the game, they better have Yuri still as Peter Parker, as Spider-Man, because it would not feel the same if he's not the voice in Insomniac Spider-Man's.
I love being Spider-Man. I gotta say, I love being Spider-Man. It is the best. So, I'll do it forever if they ask me to, but I also understand if at some point they're like, you know what, we're gonna have to switch gears. And I'm like, you know what, I had a good run. Not everybody can say that they, did what I get to do. So I'm happy right now. Like, even if it ended today, I'd be like, man, I did that.
No.
But I also hope it goes on forever.
Forever.
Man, I hope it goes on forever too. Long enough to build out a fully. Growing up a comics fan, I'm sure you fantasize about this stuff. And this is our last question. Then we got to let you go talk one-on-one with Logan for a bit. But I think back to like Iron Man launching the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Iron Man was not nearly as popular as Spider-Man was in 2008, and he launched the MCU. It was one good movie, launched an entire cinematic franchise. Spider-Man feels like it could be that for PlayStation. It could be this thing that was so incredible. Spider-Man, granted, incredibly popular already.
Yeah.
But it was such a good game. There's so much to it. We know there's a Wolverine game coming, stuff like that. As a fan, purely as a fan, I don't know if you know anything about this, if they tell you this stuff, whatever. But do you start fantasizing about, like, man, we really could be doing a full-on Marvel video game universe on PlayStation?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight.
Jim, not paying attention? Right.
I know.
The only problem with there being a Moon Knight game is that they probably wouldn't let me also play Moon Knight.
No!
But at least
they need Yuri to play Peter Parker and Moon Knight, okay? I'm sorry.
I would get to play a Moon Knight game. So so we do win. And we do get, they've already confirmed the Arachnite suit for the new game. So I'm excited to at least sort of fake it.
I'd say Moon Knight as a game would be insane because you just get already built-in different characters you could play as.
Exactly.
That'd be insane.
I'm just putting it out there. I hope it does. I think they've done such a good job that it would be silly for Marvel not to go, we need to do more of this. When you look at the universe, it's endless. The stories that they could tell and the combos they could do and crossovers and everything. So yeah,
man.
more that, more more everything. You know, since I put Moon Knight out there, I'm always a big fan of the whole BPRD universe and that the Hellboy universe and like more games like that, please.
Just don't encroach on Daredevil. I think Troy Baker's trying to get that cornered for himself. I've noticed the past couple of years.
Has he been lobbying for that? That's okay, as long as he doesn't want to do
years.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We've all got our zones, man.
Just put them together. Daredevil and Spider-Man. How many times have they crossed over?
Right?
Are we writing this thing? I think we just wrote Spider-Man 3. Moon Knight, Daredevil, Spider-Man.
I just noticed, because this, embarrassingly enough, I 3%ed the game originally and walked away just because I'm lazy. But I've been playing it. I started at the beginning playing it with my son now, and I've gotten further with him, and I'm noticing things that I didn't notice because I didn't play through little details they put in. But it was on a bulletin board at Feast. There's a thing for some lawyers, and it was like Rurdoch and I forget what it was, but it was and I was like, I never, because they don't tell me stuff about stuff like that when we're recording the game. It just doesn't help me in what I'm doing. But I love Easter eggs like that, and I love details, and they're really good at details, and it's been fun getting back and playing it and seeing those.
I would be so annoying if I was you. I would just be texting my boss every day and being like, yo, tell me. But it's probably...
Yeah, Brian Intihar has already given... I mean, he's just mad that every time I call him, I want to talk about Moon Knight, and he's like, enough.
One day. Hey, keep pushing, keep fighting that good fight. We appreciate you, man. Yuri, honestly, it has been an absolute awesome honor to talk with you on Phase Zero today. I cannot wait to experience Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
Spider-Man games are the reason I own a PlayStation. I'm not going to lie. They are the reason I have that console sitting right over there. And
Sony is very happy to hear that.
hey, man.
I'm in God of War and all that, but the main reason why I got this PlayStation 5 for me to play the Spider-Man games.
Love these games.
The Spider-Man Remastered, Spider-Man PS4, Miles Morales.
I'm so grateful we got a chance to talk with you today. I'll let you go. I know you're going to talk to Logan in an interview that's going to be on comicbook.com later, closer to the release of the game. I know everybody in our comment section is very excited for this game, so thank you so much for joining us on Phase Zero today.
You bet.
All right, everybody. That is our...
Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed that. One-on-one with Marvel Spider-Man's Yuri Lowenthal. If you guys did enjoy the video, please drop a like on the video, comment below, subscribe, post notifications about the syndromes. I will talk to you guys on the next video. Peace out.